All right, what's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Joey Womack, founder and CEO of Goodie Nation, and you are in for an absolute treat as I have a special guest today from Google's Tech Equity Collective, and we're going to talk about how you can create a standout application for the upcoming 2024 Tech Equity Collective $1 million Impact Fund. So sit back, tune in, take a bunch of notes, and get prepared to get a lot better over these next few minutes. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it to my special guest, Rachelle, to give a little bit about her background. So Rachelle, to start, if you want to first start, tell us about your role at Google, and then kind of go into your background, your origin story.
Thank you. What's up, Joey? It's always fun to hang out with you in the virtual space. Hello, you all. Really excited about getting your applications and sharing more about Tech Equity Collective. So, as Joey shared, I'm Rachelle. I have the privilege and the honor of being the lead of Tech Equity Collective, which is a Google initiative to accelerate Black innovation in tech. And so, we have a team of very dedicated people who are coming together to form partnerships across the industry with industry partners, as well as with organizational partners that are also invested in forwarding innovation and making sure that innovation is inclusive of and that we're building with the Black community. We also do this work through programs, and so we're always invested in the upskilling and reskilling of aspiring and emerging Black technical talent. And then we are always about experiences. So we pop up in the places where you are at so that we can share more information about technology and how you can be a part of building it. I have been on this journey with Tech Equity Collective and Google for about 2 years. And again, we've got a really dope team of program managers, product marketing managers, brand managers who really work to make sure that we are creating something that's impactful for the community.
Cool. Well, let's dig a little bit deeper into the activities of Tech Equity Collective. So last time I saw you all in person, you're at Afro Tech and do your thing. Can you share a little bit more about some of the places you all have been and some of the detailed programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one program that we have is Tech Prep, and so Tech Prep is a 4-month career coaching program that we do in partnership with MLT Management Leadership for Tomorrow, and that program is really about making sure that people have the tools that they need to thrive to get that job. And so we're talking about technical interviewing, behavioral interviewing, understanding your roadmap to and through tech, right? Helping you build the confidence that you need so you can secure the job, helping you really push and craft your resume, helping you form the community so that you have peers and you have coaches who can help you get to where you want to be. We also have Black Genius Academy, and so I like to say that there's Black Genius Academy that is exposing you to the career opportunities. So you can't be what you can't see. And so we want to make sure that we're allowing the community to see the opportunities that exist for them in tech. And so we have built Black Genius Academy with Career Karma, which is really exciting. And so you can register, go to blackgeniusacademy.com, register today so that you can get exposed to like, what does it mean to be a software engineer, or like, what are the education requirements of cybersecurity? How much would I make if I was in cybersecurity, or if I was doing IT? What is the educational pathways? And so we really want to we built modules thinking about the lived experience of someone who is new to this world of technology. And if you complete, there's an opportunity for you to apply for scholarships so that you can continue your education at one of our selected boot camps, or you can apply for a certificate with Grow with Google that will add to your learning experience as well. So those are just some of the programs. Another program that we're going to talk about today is Impact Fund. So I won't get into that too much yet, but some experiences that we have. And so we pop up last year in 2023. We were at Pharrell's Something in the Water Music Festival. We believe in, again, going to where the community is at and exposing the community. And so we popped up there, and that was live. And then we also believe in making sure that we create access for all to participate in Black tech experiences. So we were at Render ATL last year in Atlanta. We were also at Afrotech, which was in Austin last year. That was a vibe. We were at Techsgiving, which is another conference introducing the community to tech. That was in Washington D.C. And then we have our own experiences, which is really big. So of course we get to be a part of the bigger Google footprint, and so we want to make sure that we are introducing people to Google, to technology. And so we brought over 300 people to Google I/O and Google I/O Connect, and so those are our really big developer moments. The one was in Shoreline, California. One was in Miami. And so we want to make sure that we are increasing that diversity and exposure there. And then one really exciting moment that we had was what we call Tech Equity Collective Innovate. So we had our own experience. And so that was in November in Atlanta. And it was, I mean, I like to say that it was popping, right? So we had a main stage and we had amazing content on that stage. We were talking about tech entrepreneurship. We were talking about securing the bag in tech. We were doing tech demos on that main stage. We also had a really dope speaker, Killer Mike, to come on and to really bless the stage with his experiences in tech and why he thinks tech is important. He dropped some jewels, and so we're happy. Go to Tech Equity Collective or at Tech Equity Collective on Instagram, so you can just scroll down and see some of the jewels that he dropped. And then we had office hours where you could actually sit down with someone who has a shared lived experience and ask them about their experience in tech, how they got there. Like, no question is a silly question. So people were really open to sharing their journeys and answering the questions. And then we had an area where you could actually do workshops. And so we had workshops on, you could build beats, you could do coding. We had AI workshops. We really wanted people to be able to put their hands on the technology and use the technology. And so that was a really great moment for us. And then something else that we do is we do something called Innovators Table, where we are continuously having conversations. So one thing we believe is building this together with the community. So not us just sitting, at our laptops and be like, what do we think the community needs? No, we're listening to the community. So people like yourself, Joey, other leaders, people who are out in the streets working with the people. And so we want to make sure that we're building Tech Equity Collective with people who know what is needed and what's needed to excel. And so we do that through something called Innovators Table, which is always hot because you bring the dopest minds and the dopest ideas to the table to have just real authentic conversations about technology and Blackness. And so that's really dope.
There it is. There it is. So before we go into the Impact Fund, I want to share a little bit more because I don't think like the true impact of that event in Atlanta and what it's done for the city. So that was in like middle November. Since then, we've gone on to create this the Further Atlanta Black Tech program in the community. And so in January, we did the 2024 State of the Atlanta Black Tech Ecosystem Summit at the Gathering Spot, 500 people, standing room only. From there, we launched our own platform. So now we have hundreds of people already signed up to the Atlanta Black Tech online portal. We relaunched our Slack group. And then last Thursday, February 8th, we had 8 different, basically we call them community dinner series, Rachelle, but it's basically like a form of innovator table, but organized by the community. So 8 different dinners at 8 different Black-owned restaurants across Metro Atlanta, from downtown all the way up to Alpharetta, and things were popping, right? So we're going to do that every month moving forward. So that was the inspiration from that November event in Atlanta.
Oh, that's so dope to hear, Joey. That just brings joy to my heart. And now I'm like, oh, so we need to pop up in DC, Miami, Nebraska. We just need to pop up everywhere to inspire and innovate. Thank you for sharing that.
There it is. And we'll get you some photos and video and stuff like that. Okay. So let's shift gears into why we're here today, right? So you all do a lot of dope stuff. And in last year, you all launched, in partnership with Goodie Nation, the Tech Equity Collective Impact Fund. So share a little bit more about what it is and why you all started it.
Yeah. So Impact Fund is what I think is a dope opportunity to share the wealth, literally, right? So not only is it a $1 million commitment from Google's Tech Equity Collective, but we're sharing, financial wealth, but we also bring organizations that are doing the reskilling, upskilling, that's doing the work. We bring them together so that they can learn and so that they can grow and so that they have what they need so they can share that wealth of information. But then we also bring them together so that they can work amongst themselves and ideate amongst themselves so they can share information. And so it's just this win-win for everybody. We do believe in decentralizing opportunities and funding as well, right? And so why not put dollars into the hands of the organizations that may need it and the organizations that's doing impactful work. And so when we decentralize, it helps us scale our work. It helps us reach our North Star a whole lot quicker. And so we kicked it off last year and it went well. We had 16 organizations last year, and now we're back this year and we're like, hey, we also want to like have 20 organizations this year. We have, Joey, your team's been amazing in leading this work with us and really helping us shepherd our these organizations through and make sure they have what they need. So we're very much invested, and we'll talk about some of those program elements. But again, this is really about making sure organizations that are led by people who share lived experiences or allies of the people that we're serving, and we want to make sure that it's really good content, it's really good programming. So the application is, I'm gonna be real, it's rigorous, right? It's also like we I think there's a lot of organizations doing good work, but we want to make sure that we're doing work that is really going to move the needle, that's really going to give people the education that they need so they can go land the job, or so they can go start the tech company. And so we're really committed. Really committed to that, and really committed to filling in the gap, because we know that financial capital is very important, but also you need strategic support and programmatic support so that you can go on to do great things. And so I do think that Impact Fund is just a really dope program that we're offering to the community.
No, I love it. I love it a lot. It's been an absolute joy working with the organizations from last year. I mean, you had organizations like Black Sisters in STEM, you had Color Coded Labs,
Yeah.
you had Hiatus, you had a number of just amazing organizations from across the US, from Atlanta to Baltimore to the Bay Area to LA to New York. I mean, some amazing organizations, right? And so, this year, as we shift into the types of organizations that are kind of eligible. So that's what I want to go into next, right? So we'll talk about eligibility, then we'll go into like what we're looking for and stuff. It's going to be 20 organizations.
Yes.
That receive $50,000 each, right?
Yes.
So 50 grand. And listen, I started Goodie Nation. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. I know what it's like, right? I know what it's like. So, these dollars matter. And also, we'll get into the programmatic support a little bit later on, but let's go into eligibility, right? So, Rachelle, do you want to go a little bit into like who is eligible to apply for this opportunity, the type of companies that we're looking for, organizations we're looking for?
Absolutely. So Tech Equity Collective, for now, we're very much US based. So we are looking for organizations that are US based. We are looking for organizations that have demonstrated impact in the technical upskilling, hiring, career development, and coaching of communities that identify as Black. And I really want to put emphasis on the demonstrated, because I know there are a lot of brilliant ideas on how to do this work, and a lot of people are coming up with the work. But right now, we want to focus on those that have demonstrated the impact, that have the numbers, that have the success that we can see. And then we want to help grow and scale those. We are especially interested in organizations that are preparing Black technical talent for this wave of AI and machine learning and cybersecurity. So those, let's just be real, like that's where technology is at, and that's where we're shifting. And so we are interested in organizations that's doing that work. Of course, we want organizations that's helping to build out the next Black developer. So that's really important to us. We do our work. There's so many programs out there that are for secondary education. So if you think high school and under, we really are focused on the audience that's 18 plus. So we want organizations that's focused on that audience. And so I always say, like, think early to mid career, right? Like, I would want my sister who is 21, who's in a non-traditional educational path, or my mom who is looking to transition in tech. I'd want them to be able to participate in the reskilling and upskilling programs that these organizations are offering. So we are looking at programs that are, led by Black leadership or by allies. That's really important. And again, I think the biggest piece is, have you demonstrated that you can do this, that you're doing this, and that you're making it happen. And so we want to be able to grow and help you scale.
Nice. So again, I've created organizations both for profit and nonprofit, but all for social impact. And so if you are an organization out there, and I want to get some clarification, Rachelle. So I know what it's like to do training, right? In many cases, organizations will train high schoolers and college students and kind of quote unquote adults, right? So I think what we're looking for, again, correct me if I'm wrong, Rachelle, you can do all three, but if the majority, we're looking for those programs that are doing the majority of their training of people 18 plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can apply. And then secondly, you can be a for-profit and apply. You see a lot of nonprofits, but you can be a for-profit and apply.
Yeah.
But again, you have to fulfill the other requirements of training,
Yes.
Reskilling, upskilling, so on and so forth.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Okay, so let's kind of go into the application, right? She mentioned the application is rigorous. I filled out worse. I'm not gonna lie. Like I filled out worse, or let's say worse, longer.
Yes.
And I'll say before we get into the application and some of the questions and how you can create an application that stands out, right? Whenever I apply at Goodie Nation for a grant or any other opportunity, no matter if I receive it or not, it's an opportunity to get better. Because I know as a founder, as the leader of the organization, if I don't know the answers to these questions, then I'm in the wrong. So in some cases, it just forces me to answer the question, and I've just gotten better by answering it, right? So again, I encourage everyone to create the application, if for no other reason, to get better, right? To get better. And you're going to be able, like, these are the type of questions that people ask from a lot of different funding sources and things of that nature. So you got to have the answers anyway.
Yeah.
You got to have the answers anyway. So let's kind of go into some of them, right? So we are looking for people that have a commitment to Black technical talent. You alluded to, the AI, the ML, so on and so forth. Any thoughts on what that commitment piece looks like?
So again, demonstrated commitment, right? So I want to see, that could be in the number of years that you've been doing this work. That could be in how many people that you've actually trained from this work. That could be the number of people who actually have not only trained, but have been able to land roles in tangible opportunities in the tech industry. That could look like the programming that you use, the curriculum, is it aligned with what is most relevant out here in the world? And so I think that is what commitment looks like to us, right? Have you been able to raise, right? 50K, yes, is a substantial, but sometimes 50K is not enough, right? So how have you supplemented this? How have you dedicated? How has your organization been dedicated to fundraising, to bringing other people, other partners on board? How are you using your alumni? So there's a lot of ways that one can demonstrate commitment to this work. But I think again, it's not just like, are you committed? The question is, have you demonstrated commitment?
Right. And let me say this too. Like, I'm going to give two tips before we go into the next one. Because again, I've applied for a lot of grants, but I've also evaluated thousands of applications in the past. Thousands. Two things. When you go to answer that question around commitment to technical talent, to Black technical talent, I know some people out there, you're applying and it's going to be a stretch, because I've seen it all. You'll say like, oh, we're going to use the funds to hire 2 people, and then we're going to train them in the way so they can do work for us. I know what you're saying. You're looking to use the money to hire people you want to hire. You need to hire anyway. It's not about training them. So when we talk about committing, like showing a commitment to the to Black technical talent, how you're going to train it, we are looking for actual like programmatic support. Don't try to do this stretch thing, because I mean you can apply, right? You can apply, but I see it. I've seen it all. The other thing is, don't bury the lead. From the perspective of someone who's looking at a bunch of applications, the reality is this, right? When you're looking at hundreds of applications, at a certain point, they all start to look the same. Now, we're giving you like a character or a word limit to some of these things, but don't put your best thing at the end of the paragraph or the sentence. Put it at the top, because what's going to happen, just human nature says you're going to start reading. Because I've looked at a bunch of other applications already, I'm looking for the people that come out the gate kind of hot, right? The first 1-2 sentences, you're directly answering the question in a cool way, and then everything else can support it. So don't wait to the very end of the paragraph or whatever it is to say your best part. Say it initially. So when that thing says show a commitment to Black technical talent, say it the first 1-2 sentences, and everything else kind of goes from there. Like catch, as said very simply, just simply catch our attention immediately. And so then we're talking about, the target audience, right? The target audience. So if you're going to say, hey, we train engineers, or we're training founders, or whatever it is, say that out front, right? Just say it out front. And so, like, Rachelle, I want to kick it to you. What are your thoughts on them being like specific to the types of talent that we're looking for? Are you looking for certain roles? Are you looking for people in certain even geographic areas, or what?
So again, this is very much US based, right? And so I do want to put some emphasis there that it is, we want to make sure that your target audience is based in the US. The collective is very much, we want to make sure that we're creating an inclusive space. We want to see how have you done that, right? Like, how have you focused on the Black community in your work? Because we do believe that that's important for us right now to focus on. It's technical, right? There's a plethora of roles in tech. I work in tech. I'm a program manager, product marketer. However, we also want to focus on those technical roles. So are you preparing the next developer? Are you preparing the next UX designer, the next person cybersecurity manager, or someone who is also, who might be a data scientist? So that is definitely a focus. We're not, if you are in a big city or if you're in a rural place, this is you still got skin in the game. You're still preparing. So I don't want anybody to count them out because they're like, oh, my city's not big enough, right? And we're not. And it's not necessarily also about like, are you training 5,000 people? No, that's not it. You might be training, 50 people, but those 50 people are highly skilled, highly trained, and they're landing the jobs and they're in tech, right? And so we're looking for quality, not just quantity as well. And one of the things, Joey, just going back to one of your recommendations, show, don't tell, right? Because people are like, we care about, about AI. Well, show us, right? Like we're getting a lot of applications. So like Joey said, put it at the front, but show us, don't tell us how you're doing this work.
I love it. So let's kind of go into the next part of the application, which is around kind of problem and solution and stuff like that, right? And I'll kind of address this because I see it across a lot of different types of pitches and applications and things of that nature. We're going to ask you, like, what problem are you solving for the types of talent that you just identified in the previous question, right? Mm-hmm. What type of, what problem are you solving? So my advice is to be specific and also identify a problem that most people are not really looking at, right? Don't be so general that there are thousands of other programs out there doing it, because that's going to put you in competition with all those thousand. What piques my interest whenever I'm looking at applications is someone that's identified a very unique problem. For example, it could be something along the lines of, in my experience of working with software engineers, I've noticed that they've fallen out of the application or the hiring pipeline or process after the first interview because of XYZ. And we're solving for XYZ. Like, that's very specific and unique. Yeah. And then that lends itself to a very unique solution, which gets the interest of people who are evaluating these applications, right? Again, generic problems lead to generic solutions. Unique problems typically lend to unique solutions, and unique solutions are the ones that stand out.
Yeah, I would agree.
So be specific. I'd also say this too, right? When you talk about a problem, use stats, right? There are 183,000, I'm making this up, 183,000, Black computer science graduates in the US, but they only land 22,000 jobs a year because of, again, XYZ or X. That's specific. That's a problem that stands out, because in my mind as an evaluator, I'm saying 183,000, but only 22,000 get jobs. Like, there's a problem here. It's a big problem. But if you're like, if you say there are tons of Black software engineers that don't get a job, that's so generic.
Yeah,
that I'm gonna go next application. So be specific, give numbers, think of something unique, and kind of go from there. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on it, Rachelle. Just want to kind of.
I think I would plus one to all of that. I don't have any additional thoughts there.
Cool. And again, same thing on the solutions, right? I mean, come up with something unique. I think there are various ways to solve a problem. Some people do a combination of virtual and in person. Some people are purely in person or virtual. Some people are, maybe they're using some interesting tools to actually scale their solution, right? So all those things are kind of fair game. Let's go quickly into the use of funds, right? Let's quickly into use of funds. And I don't know if you have any thoughts on it, Rachel. I'll kick it to you first before I come back with any.
Yeah. So just to touch up on something that you said, Joey, if you got data, use it. We want to be data driven. We are tracking progress. So one thing that is, and Joey will get into this, but we're going to be asking for progress reports, right? And so going back to like the use of funds is, we want to know how you're using this money. So to keep it like, to be real, like, we don't want to hear that you're using $50K to pay one person's salary, right? Like, that's not it. We don't want to hear that you're using $50K so you can get a nice office space. That's not it, right? Like, we want to hear you are using $50K to invest in building a curriculum so that you can take that curriculum to 200 people in your program, right? We want to hear that you are investing and providing skills training, right, for X amount of people. So it's like we are investing this use of funds into the program, into the experience, right? And of course, that's going to look different, but it's not operational costs. It's not administrative costs, right? It's not so you can go out and buy a lot of swag and merch, right? So you can spread. It's not into marketing. Like, that's not it. This is truly into the program, into the people that are benefiting from the program. So that's where we're at. Joey, I don't know if you have anything else to add there.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the real on why. So again, I'll start out by explaining you, and not you, Rachelle, but the viewer here, and your own strategic planning, right? When you're creating the budget for your organization, and then hopefully you're reporting up to a board or some set of advisors. You're reporting to somebody that's probably not you. And if you aren't, then you should, right? They're going to ask you, what is the return on the investment for the money that you spent, right? What is the return on the investment? So then, using that same framework, apply it to any funder, right? Apply it to any funder. Like, you're going to like Rachelle and the Rachelle's of the world. This is the real. They got to get the funds from somewhere, and it's like your board, nonprofit or for-profit founder is going to ask you, for ROI. They're getting asked too. So here's the through line, right? For this $1 million spent on training Black technical talent, how many people were trained, reskilled, upskilled, got jobs, so on and so forth. And so, again, when you're creating your application, you've got to be able to think, okay, I'm using these funds to do XYZ training, and eventually it's going to result in Y number or Z number of people being trained. And so, as an evaluator, we're looking to see, okay, are you spending $50,000 to train one person? Or, and again, it's not necessarily about scale. You don't have to say using 50,000 to train a million people, but how effective will that 50K be used relative to the output you're producing? So that's how I personally look at it. And just the big thing is be detailed. Be detailed, and don't say, again, you're looking to use it to hire one person to run a program. Um, so anything else? Let's kind of talk about the measures of success, because we kind of alluded to it, right? We kind of alluded to it. Like, again, any person that creates any type of funding is looking for ROI. So for anyone applying for this opportunity, what we're looking for is your ability to talk about how you're actually going to measure it, right? What are some of the KPIs? What's maybe personally what I look for is like, what is your North Star metric? What is the top like KPI that you're going to focus on in order to let everyone or let yourself and your team know that you're doing a good job, right? So, I think that so at Goodie Nation, we always ask, what are your top 3 KPIs? So whenever you're talking about how you're measuring success, you got to be able to think about it in numbers, right? You got to be able to think in numbers. So I don't know, Rachelle, anything else you want to add around, how they're measuring success and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think, don't make the numbers up. Don't fabricate the numbers, right? Like be real about what they are, right? And if like so one tool that we're going to be helping people with once if you're accepted is we're going to help people learn how to measure success and track success. But for now, we really do want you to give us insight on the work that you're doing, and how it is driving. So how many people how many people are in your program, right? How many people are you reaching? How are you marketing this? How many followers do you have? Subscribers do you have, right? How many partners do you have? Like, give us as much insight as possible. But when you're tracking success, also tell us how are you tracking that success as well.
I think that's important. It's almost like if you've ever been on an interview or if you've ever pitched someone for funding, um, whenever they ask you some of these questions, sometimes they don't really care as much about the answer, though they do. They do care about the answer, but in reality, things change all the time. What they're more so looking at is how you think about it. And so if in through the application, if we can see that, okay, they've thought this through, then it's a good indication that they're a good steward of the funding. They're actually going to create change, right? Again, life be life, and sometimes things happen, things change. We get it. These are early stage organizations, but again, if you've done your thing and you've come up with a thorough application and it's well thought out, it puts you in a better position to stand out from the crowd, right? And this is what we're looking to do: stand out from the crowd. So I want to shift gears into how we actually will support the folks that are selected. Before I do that, Rachelle, is there anything else you want to add about how they can properly position themselves through the application process?
Joey, I actually think that you've said it, right? That we've
Okay.
talked about it. It's just really just having one well written, right? Like don't rush it, right? Don't wait for the night before to turn it in, right? If you can get people to read over it, right? And ask people to challenge you, right? Ask them to be like, well, why you put this? Or what about this? Or I don't understand this, right? Grammar, spelling, that's going to be really important. I think that, just standing out with like the real data, right? I think we got a dope team. We got a dope selection committee. They are just I'm impressed with them, as people, as humans, as leaders. And so they've seen a lot of applications. So I think they'll be able to, read through what's real and what's just aspirational. And so bring the authenticity of your organization and for your team, to the application as well. Just bring bring realness, bring truth to it. I think that's the thing, right? Like, yeah. And if you've got creative ideas, if you've got infographics, if you've got, something to add that's quick and short, we don't suggest trying to upload a project annual report or something like that. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this too, right? I'm gonna say this too. There in like the last year and change, there've been a number of tools created to help people generate uh content. I'll put it like that. And I'm in your shoes. I apply for grants all the time. What I would say in using the various tools is don't necessarily go from an input to like final draft, like final. Like I get it. You want to start it because you're time crunched, you're under resourced, you're probably doing the last minute. I get it. I've been there. Look at what you're putting in, and then actually use it as a rough draft, and then put your own stuff in there. Right? Don't go from prompt all the way to final, because it does. Again, you have some expert reviewers that's been there, that done that, and they can figure out what was real and what isn't. Right? So I would just say, like, use it as a start and then tweak it from there. So as we're coming up on time, let's just talk about, if you were to be selected, like, here's how you get support. Like, this is the opportunity. Yes, the winners will receive $50,000 in funding, equity free, but you also get 6 months of support from the Goodie Nation team, right? And so what that means is you get assigned what we call a performance partner, or a dedicated business coach. We actually will have several people who will serve as mentor and residences, from everything to helping you raise additional, or give you advice at least, on raising additional funding, to marketing, sales, team operations, using AI tools to make your internal operations better, and things of that nature. So you'll have a plethora of personalized coaches to help you succeed moving forward, right? I think the funding is just the start, but the additional support is where we drive it home to help you create better change, and more change, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So how that looks at, and Rachelle kind of alluded to it, we're going to start out with a session helping you set OKRs, or priorities and goals, so that you can then go and hit them over the next 6 to 9 months. So we're going to start pretty quick after selections, and you'll have a ton of opportunity, and you'll be also brought into the larger Goodie Nation community of amazing founders from around the U.S. and around the world. So, as we kind of go into closing here, one, applications are due on February 18th. Get it in, start now. But yeah, Rachelle, before we close, anything else you want to add?
No, I want to thank everyone in advance for taking the time to apply. I imagine that if you are applying, that means that you're out here doing the work. I want to say that if you do not get accepted this time, like that, we still want you to engage in the work of Tech Equity Collective. And so it's no, your acceptance or not is no indication of the impactful work that you're doing. And so if you have have a question about your application or about the work that you're doing, email us at email us techequitycollective@google.com. We will, try our best to answer some questions and add some insights as well. But I want to give a huge, Joey, we glossed over it, but I want to give a huge celebration to you and your team for 10 years. Right? So you've been in this game for 10 years, doing this work, hearing about this community, hearing about founders, making sure that people are set up for success and doing work that is transformational around the globe. And so I just want to really shout you out. You and your team are just amazing partners at making sure that we bring in amazing organizations, but that they have what they need so they can go out and do great work. And so it's not lost on me what you and the rest of your team do for this community and for this industry. So thank you. That's big. I do want to do, like, I feel like I'm on the Grammys right now. I'm like, I want to shout out my team, right? Like, the team, we're small but mighty, and they're doing just amazing work. And of course, all the other people that come together to actually fund the Impact Fund, right? So the Googlers that make this happen, right? The selection committee, like, it truly is one thing about Tech Equity Collective. We are a collective. We are a community of people who are just really dedicated to seeing equity, innovation in the tech industry. So good luck to everybody. You can hit us up at Tech Equity Collective on Instagram. Go to techequitycollective.com or email us techequitycollective@google.com. There's a million and one ways that you can get in touch with us. And again, if it's not Impact Fund this year, maybe it's another year, or maybe there's another opportunity to engage with us. And so we'll see you.
There it is. All right, y'all. We'll get those applications in. And once again, Joey Womack, founder, CEO of Goodie Nation. We'll see y'all later. Peace out.